So we're back with match Ramble, and yes, we're actually doing a viewer requested one because I'm lazy and I haven't done one in a while, so sorry for the wait. This one is from Mike GWP, obviously from the group chat wrestling podcast. How have I stumbled on the word wrestling? I say it all the time. Obviously friend of the channel, friend in real life, everything about it. Shout out to Mike, pretty cool. And yeah, we're going to be talking about a match he's recommended me to do for a while now, and it is a DOA from TNT Extreme Wrestling, which obviously I've been to the shows before, only a few, but I've still been. And today we're going to be talking about a DOA match from 2025. This will be Emersyn Jayne versus Drew Parker in an I Quit death match. Now, this match, they build it up, so I don't think it was an I Quit before it. I think at the start, because Drew Parker grabs the mic and he goes, listen, I want this, because originally the whole thing was if whoever lost would leave TNT or whatever. I didn't really get that, but then they said Drew Parker gets the mic and goes, listen, Emersyn, I've beat you by pinfall, everything about it, but I want to beat you by two beautiful words, I quit. And hence, I think that is why the stip, I think even they say it on commentary. And the match itself is pretty good. It's not insane. I will never say it's insane. It's not one of those insane spots. I've never seen Drew Parker before, at least to my knowledge. So it's definitely interesting to see him here. I do like how, this match starts off, they go back and forth. Emerson's got a bit of, they go straight up, and then Emersyn forces Drew out the ring, and then he goes to get him. She goes to jump out to get Drew, and then he hits clocking her out, and then he has control. Not a lot of fluorescent light tubes, but still fluorescent light tubes. I love how Drew Parker uses the tubes. Personally, he gets the tubes by his head, puts it against Emerson's head, and headbutts them open. It's fucking nuts. And he doesn't sell that, I don't think. I feel like the way he sells it in the sense of its brutality and how it's not affecting him really works. But I do feel like how he just does it to no avail, doesn't really let you go boom. It doesn't really get that whole explosiveness. Fucking hell, what's going on today? Explosiveness of the fluorescent light tubes. I feel like that does kind of lose its pop, for lack of a better term. It is good. It is a good little match. I like how Emersyn sells the pain. She gets asked a few times, obviously, I quit, and she goes, fuck off, no, all that stuff. There's the main thing towards the middle of the match is Drew Parker, so he's just beating on her, as you expect, beating her. I think a lot of fluorescent light tubes. He handcuffs her to the to rope, which was pretty cool. He handcuffs her to that, and then he eventually comes up, does more fluorescent light tubes with the head, starts stabbing her in the head with the rest of the tube. That was pretty cool. And then she obviously gets asked if I quit, and she says no. And then so then Drew fucks off. He just gets off, and everyone's like, "What?" And then he goes back to the backstage and comes out 2 seconds later with a big, massive plate of glass, massive plate of glass. And obviously, this was what previously injured Emersyn Jayne. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like that was obviously something that happened to Emersyn. And then he brings that out and he lays it on the floor, and then obviously he lays it on the turnbuckle. And at this point, he's went up to unchain, unhandcuff, release the handcuffs of Emersyn on the rope so he can move it, and then puts it on the floor, opens that, and then puts the glass on the turnbuckle. Then after that, what he does is he's ready, he's going up to get Emersyn, and then Emersyn just runs and does a shotgun drop kick, bang, puts him through it, which was really cool. Then Emersyn goes, drags him over. She does a swanton and hits, and everyone's even the commentary's pin her. It's it's a fucking I quit, you can't pin. And then she does it again, but he gets his knees up. At this point, I forget there is one move that she does, and I'll talk about it now because I forget if it's before or after the other spot. I think it's before. I think it is now. So Drew basically, I think it might be before the swanton, admittedly. But Emersyn hits a coast to coast, and I thought that was the best shit of the night. I love a coast to coast. It's one of my favourite moves in all the wrestling. I think Kevin Knight does it superbly, and I just love a coast to coast anytime it's done. I didn't expect to get it from this match. She had the chair with it though, which was brutal. It was really brutal how she added the chair to it. As it continues, so after that, so Drew gets the knees up, Emerson's hurt, and then Drew drags her to the rope. She's in pain, and he gets a dart and puts the dart through the cheek. I don't know if this is the birth, because every time I've seen Emersyn Jayne, it's very synonymous with her that she has a dart through her mouth. obviously deathmatch stuff, but, you know, it's very synonymous that she has that. And then she gets asked if he quits, and she goes, Drew, is that all you've got, you fucking pussy? And then he does it again, gets another one. The facial expressions from Drew, by the way, is so good. He's so good at selling this, just visually. He gets another one, and then he goes, is that all you got? And then he somehow, I forget how he does it, I forget how they do it, they, I mean, even say reverse it, I think it might be a basic trip. And then what she does is she goes up, after she's reversed that, she goes up to get the rest of the darts out of her mouth. And, well, out of his, to get some more. She's doing everything else with the darts in the mouth, by the way. She doesn't take the darts out of the mouth, which is insane. And then she goes up to Drew. She gets Drew on the actual ropes. He's out. And then she goes and gets a dart and puts a dart through his mouth. It's like, oh, fuck. And then he gets asked if he quits. And he goes like, Emersyn, you're huge, you know, Emersyn, fuck yourself, or whatever. And then she goes and gets another one, puts that through. And then she just goes again, getting asked. Is that all you've got? And it's like, oh fuck. And then when he does that, Emersyn goes and gets a chair, and it looks like she's about to whack the darts with the chair, and then he just screams, I quit. And that's the match. Emersyn's the new champ. I forget what, I think it's just the TNT Championship, I forget. But and that's the match. It's not the longest match, I will admit. I thought it would be longer, but it's not. And overall, I thought it was pretty good. I thought the finish was kind of, I like how shitbaggy the finish is. I like how cowardly the finish is. I really do. I think that was excellent. I do feel like because it's a deathmatch, it's hard to kind of critique the pace, because the whole point is, like, you do a big spot, it's like, wow, and then you do another big spot. TNT crowds, every time I've been on the very back and forth. You hear the same group, and usually we're part of that group with the Group Chat Wrestling Podcast, great guys, and that whole group. But that's normally the main source of crowd, and I feel like that's kind of the same here. It is a bit loud. It does definitely get into itself. It's a great match. It does definitely suck crowd in. I just feel like the problem is when it's, because it is that silent and there's not a lot going on. I think this match actually does suffer from watching it on tape rather than being in person. I feel like a lot of matches like this do suffer from that, and I think this one definitely does. I feel like if you watch this in person, you'd have a drastically different, like, opinion of it, because it doesn't feel as long. And I feel like that's the only critique I have, is it feels quite long between the spots in terms of getting set one up. Like, even when Drew Parker goes up and gets the glass, like, that feels like a minute or two, but it's not. It's probably only about in real time, and if you're there, it doesn't feel like long. It probably feels a lot quicker. And it honestly, its flaws aren't really its own fault, at least from my viewing experience. I feel like it does definitely, you know, it's not perfect, not the most insane deathmatch I've ever seen. I'd never say that, but, like, it's a great match. I think it does get the basics of the storytelling between the characters really right, and that's what I really enjoyed. I think how it portrayed Drew as, like, some kind of shitbag, some kind of proper coward, frankly. I love how they portrayed him there. Emersyn Jayne, obviously, with the resilience with the darts and stuff, not giving up. I love that. I just thought it was a solid little match. It was a very good indie-style deathmatch, and I think that is a compliment in itself. I enjoyed it. I thought the spots were, especially with the darts, obviously that's a big thing. I love the glass spots. I love the delivery of the swantons. You can tell these are two really experienced wrestlers, and it's a good chemistry they have here. Obviously, the imagery with the blood is always great to see, but I really enjoyed this. I thought it was an excellent match. Well, maybe not. I always say excellent, and I feel like I over-exaggerate. It's a really good match. It's on YouTube if you can find it, and that's how I watched it. But I do recommend it for a lot of people. I think if you're wanting to try and look at some indies, this is definitely a death match I would suggest watching. I think it's really good. It's not the longest either, but it does get a lot of basics right, and it is really enjoyable. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Drew Parker and Emersyn Jayne's I Quit Deathmatch. Thanks to Mike from the Group Chat Wrestling Podcast. Obviously, shout out to him. Thanks for the suggestion. Sorry it took so long. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the match. Let me know if you've watched TNT ever been, whatever you like, what's your favourite deathmatch. And obviously, trying to work through some suggestions. If you have any suggestions for me to watch, let me know.